at Sardegna C today for round 5 in the Dodge Viper. My personal design, Guragar, a VTuber, and we qualified in second position with a 56.3. See here, I start weaving a bit to get my tires warmed up because they're racing hards. The guy in front of me is in a TT Cup. He's also on the racing hards. And the guy behind me, who you'll be seeing here in just a moment, has a big oof in the middle of the race. You see him, he's snuck in on my right there. Now we were on the Brazil server, so the lag is a little bit there. I went ahead and let him on by because I seen exactly what was going on with him, and just pause here for a minute so you can see what I'm talking about. See, he's on the racing softs. This is a no-stop race. There is a 30-second time gap in going into the pits. You will lose half a lap. So we'll continue on. Now, I didn't know this whenever the race was going on, but I had a very sneaking suspicion because of some things that happened as the laps progress that he was running the racing softs. First, he just sort of blew by us like we weren't even there. Me and the TT Cup up in front here. He takes the TT Cup back here on the back stretch, which is not a good, easy place to do if you're both on racing hards. Now I'm hoping that they will fix this Viper eventually, because if anybody that knows anything about Vipers is that the Vipers never had a turbocharger. They've got this car set to have its best power rating at above 6,800 RPMs, which is where it should be shifting at. The Vipers were V10 naturally aspirated engines, even in the racing series. They had 4 street models and something like 8 different versions that they used in the racing series for the GT4, GT3 cars. And they need to basically adjust the gearing on this car to make it so that it pulls in the right power band. It would make the car handle a lot better, especially with like the racing hard tires and whatnot, if it were pulling in the lower power band where it's supposed to be at. As you can see right there, it sort of skips out because I'm having to run it into the high power band. Well, the high power band, whenever you shift gears, causes a slight differential lock. Now, because of the lag there, you couldn't actually see him hit that wall, but whenever I seen him bounce, I knew he hit the wall, so I tried to go underneath him. He tried to block it, and there was just no way he was going to stop me from going through by stepping on the brakes in front of me. He ended up getting pushed wide, and so I apologize for that, but when you leave the guy behind you with no position, no place to go, then that's just your own fault. And you can see there, he acts like he's going to try to return the favor, but I'm going around the corner too fast for the TT Cup to keep up. It's a front-wheel drive car, so he can't take the corners like the front-wheel drive Dodges can. And I think he gets a little bit close here, and then after this we just sort of walk off and leave him, because this is a hard corner and the front wheel drive car just, they can't do the hard corners, especially on hard tires. It didn't help that R4M there was giving them the shellacking from the inside. Something that I'm aware of that you won't be aware of, because I mentioned it, is that here in another 2 or 3 laps, the Delta's going to even. It's not going to stop pulling away from me, the guy in front there. That was besides the fact that where he went by us so easily, that was a glaring clue that he was running on the racing soft, because after about 6 or 7 laps, the racing softs start to fall off enough to where the racing hards can actually keep up. His fastest lap in the race was a 57.1, and you can see on lap 2 I've already pulled a 57.6 with the hards. So now I know for a fact that if I had put softs on in the race, I've already done it once just to see what I could do, and it's a 56.6 with fuel. Qualifying, I've gotten as low as 56.3, and in time trial I'm at 56.0. Now I know that as long as I can see him, he's within 5.5 seconds. Usually on the PlayStation 4s, once they get above 5.5 seconds away, the game stops drawing them on the screen for you. So I really like the way the Viper takes this turn 1 and turn 2. It just sort of flows through the corners if you do it right. If you try to overbrake, it'll get loose on you and slide to the back of the corner. You definitely want to take it easy on that second corner, because it'll put you out in the wall if you don't. If you catch the curb and it bounces the tire up. But as long as you are maintaining what the Viper can handle, it just sort of flows through there, and it actually does a really decent job of maintaining speed. Much better than some of the other vehicles. There was a big exodus from Dodge whenever they did the power down. I don't understand why they did the power down on Group 4, but as you can see here, I mean, that's a Mustang in front of us, and he's on racing softs, and he's not walking away from us. So the car is not hurting that bad. the Group 4 car, I believe, should have its power up to back up. But before they do that, they need to straighten out the drivetrain to make sure that's not going to cause issues with it making it overpowered. And you see I started clipping that inside curb to widen the corner out a little bit. You have to be really careful when you do that. You want to make sure that you're off the power, because if you're on the power, it'll make the car kick into and knock your rear end around. The race before this one, that actually occurred to me. I was in 7th place, and because of that, getting kicked sideways and clipping the wall, I got a 1.5 second penalty, and I lost 4 positions just for having the accident. I lost another 4 for the 1.5 second penalty. And as you can see there, I overcooked that brake too late. And again, I braked too late. Some of that was because I broke too late in the first one and the tires got overheated. And you're starting to see him flash on the screen there, but apparently Even Steven is this guy that plays on NASCAR Heat a lot. He's some sort of fast driver over there. I've run into him before. He's generally not a very clean driver, but he is fast. However, he wasn't fast enough this time. At this point, I'm actually starting to back out a little bit, braking into the corners a little bit sooner, lifting and coasting because I've got a 5-second stretch behind me. As you can see, the guy in front of me just started popping back in the screen, so I'm starting to catch back up to him too. See there, the tires are getting, the front tire's a little bit worn, that right side's a little bit worn, so I started lifting off before the corner to make sure that I wasn't coming into that final corner too hot and all cockeyed, because the car wanted to spin whenever if you did that when the tires started getting wore out. And at this point, I'm really starting to catch up to this guy. I think I was almost down to 4 seconds, and I think he realized this is a problem. The thing I like about this replay feature is I can do this and stream it out, and I don't have to worry about the music. I keep the music going in the game when I'm playing because it helps my tempo and it keeps me focused. My mind is actively doing something, which is basically cutting the music out so that I can drive. Otherwise, this gets boring. 25 laps of going around this circle. And he pitted. And as soon as he did that, I was like, yep, I got me a first place. So now all I gotta do is bring it home. And they're still, I mean, looking at the mini map down the right hand side, the guys behind me are 5.5 seconds behind me. And I was beginning to wonder here. I seen even Steven jump up to 4th, and I was like, is he gonna make it up here and start causing me problems? And I guess he's gonna have an issue here in another lap or two, because you're gonna see him fall off. When he does, we'll flip back there and see what happened. So he's in 4th. He's right at the lead of that second pack there behind me. I'm the red triangle. There's 2nd and 3rd, the blue triangles right behind me, and then there's a big pack there, and he'll be right at the beginning, right at the front of that. You see their ocelots steadily been falling back the entire race. That's the problem with front-wheel drive vehicles. And we're in Group 4, so you've got some four-wheel drive vehicles running around here too. I had the sneaking suspicion. Yeah, he just went into third. I'd be willing to bet this Brazilian puts even Steven or this Lewis Hamilton, one or the other. This Lewis Hamilton guy ended up in third. Nope, the Brazilian fell completely off. Looks like he's all the way back at the back of that pack now. Ocelot just got passed by the entire pack. He must have hit the wall. Okay, he's got a 1 second penalty. That's what he had to get his penalty and had the service penalty. Because Renegade was just being Renegade. We'll go back and look here because all this, what's going on back here is more interesting than me going around lapping stuff. Interesting, his tires are quite a bit more worn than mine. Yeah, by almost double. He's not very good at tire management, apparently. That's the Jaguar. Jaguar's fronts are kind of hard to manage. I've driven them before. The car is very front heavy, and it's actually one of the heavier vehicles in Group 4, so he's doing okay. He's not as bad as this BMW here that even Stevens drive. Or no, that's the what is that? I want to look at the end. And that's the Aston Martin. Of course, the Corvette's doing good. Jag's about the same as the one in second. That's Code Brown. He's pitted for tires, but that's not the position he ended up in. So something big happened back here. Let's go and continue on. Code Brown ended up in 10th, and even Steven ended up back in like 7th. So. I don't know if that's just this car, if that's him, but he's only pulling 58s. I was pulling 57s almost the entire race, so. And there's why his tires are being burned up. He's braking way late. Oh, that's what happened to him. He clipped that wall. Let's go back and see why he fell back from, because he was up in 7th at one point. Okay, he's in 7th here. Oh, he got shoved wide by the freaking Brazilian. This was the worst idea they ever had, putting South America and North America together. You got pretty much the entire CSA league will run a USA flag off the track if they get the chance, because it's purely political reasons. So he did it. DVM just did it too. He pushed a pass. He hit him in the rear and knocked him wide. He's like in the Atenza. I don't even. I would have expected his tire wear to be higher. I guess he's getting some buffering because it looks like he's using the controller by how jerky he is. Controller users get some buffers on their handling to keep them from spinning out so much. Which I think is bullcrap, because you pretty much have to use a controller to do stuff like the karts. And there's just, it's almost impossible to drive the karts in the really high twitchy cars with the steering wheel. But the pad guys can just breeze through it because of all the buffering that's put into place for the pad users. And that's the race. Hope you enjoyed it.